Hi, welcome to Having a Cuppa with toowoomba.com.au. I'm Josie Howard and we're back again with the lovely Lisa Seydel. Lisa has a business now called Drop a Dress Size. So for many of us, it's quite an interesting concept to actually look at how we can just drop a dress size. So Lisa, what does that mean?
Well, for my ladies, I actually help them actually drop a dress size, mainly through online coaching with health and nutrition, and then also helping them with setting up healthy habits as well for ongoing success and long-term success.
Is it to drop a dress size for an event, or is it or I guess who are most of the people you're coming across? Is it sort of a long-term plan, or is it I'm getting married in 4 weeks and suddenly I realise my plan wasn't going as well as I'd hoped to fit into the wedding dress I've now spent thousands of dollars on?
Well, a lot of people, it actually is get it for an event. How do I drop that dress size for an event? But the ladies that I'm actually working with now, they're going to be long term. They're looking at their health issues.
So this platform you've got is predominantly around your eating habits and eating lifestyle pretty well. It's not a diet, is it?
It's not a diet, no.
It's about healthy eating and how to actually achieve some of those results quite quickly through healthy eating.
Yeah, just healthy and actually eating whole foods. So we're trying to get people off processed food and actually going back to basic eating.
Which I'm passionate about too. We cross paths at the farmers markets all the time. So the other thing I was going to say though is you didn't start life there, did you? So 15 years ago you had an epiphany?
Yes, 15 years ago it was Christmas time, the Christmas parties.
Pre-digital cameras?
Pre-digital cameras, so I had to actually get the photos developed and got the photos back, and I looked at myself, and first up I got up Chris, my husband.
I was going to say, who did you blame for the photo?
For taking that awful photo.
Yeah.
And then I just sat down and cried. But then I actually had a realisation that that was actually me, and I could not hide from that. And then, as I was saying to you earlier, I went into, I think it was either Suzanne Gray or Rockman's, and then I could not actually get into anything in the shop. I had to go to the larger ladies' shop. And I just stood in there and I thought, I refuse.
Yeah.
And so it was then that I just decided to use the photo as motivation, because I actually had that photo on my fridge. It was probably for a good 3 or 4 years before I actually took it down.
And I guess these days Facebook does that to you too, doesn't it?
Inadvertently,
Facebook will keep bringing up those old photos of you that you may or may not want to remember.
And so in that time, I have actually lost the 25 kilos.
Wow. So what was the size? What were the sizes with that? Like, what size were you? Did you?
I was a 16 going into an 18.
Wow. And you're fairly short too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm short.
So, well, not that short, but about the same height. About 5'4".
5'4".
Yeah,
so I'm quite
5'4".
short.
I say I'm 5'4" and I'm 5'3 3/4". So
yeah.
I give myself that extra.
And when I do actually put on a bit of weight, unfortunately, it's my face that you can actually see at first. My eyes are puffy, and I just get really puffy, and you can actually really see it in my face.
So you had that epiphany, and you decided to get fit and to lose some weight, but then you actually decided to become a fitness trainer, and you weren't. A spring? No,
I wasn't a spring chicken.
Do you know what? These days, you were a spring chicken.
No, I actually wasn't.
But older than most people.
It was in my 30s that they actually asked me if I'd like to think about becoming a fitness instructor, taking the Les Mills classes. I was horrified at first. I thought there was no way, because I was actually quite shy, believe it or not.
I know. See, I didn't believe that, because I've only known you since then.
Yes,
I couldn't believe that you suggest that you were really shy.
Yeah, I was really shy. I couldn't talk in front of people. Yeah. And I would just run from any speaking event, anything that if I was in the spotlight, I would just hide and run.
But now you've grown out of it, so it's sort of a universal change, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Completely transformational what you've been through in the last 15 years.
So not only weight-wise, but confidence, and I can just speak to people. I can speak, at events at short notice or, or anything like that. Yes, I do get nervous, but
You do that 10 seconds of brave and you just do it.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
So,
Yeah, because I'm actually an all or nothing person. And this is
Yeah.
when I made my decision 15 years ago to lose weight. I had to go cold turkey
yeah.
and I just jumped straight in.
Yeah, and it's making life-changing changes, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yep, life-changing.
So you became a Les Mills instructor with the gym you were at
Yep.
and had been going to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so when I first met you, it was about 7-8 years ago when you first started your own business.
Yes, yep.
And you did that because...
Well, I just wanted a transition from working with somebody because I've always had my own businesses previously.
Mm-hmm.
And I just liked the freedom and I just liked doing what I do, to do.
And what did you start? Because I remember when you started,
Boot camps Toowoomba.
Boot camps Toowoomba, and then you focused a lot on brides, didn't you? Because you recognised there was a market for women who were gearing up for their very special day and they wanted to look special.
Yeah.
So you were doing brides, but then you realised that then a few years later, after they'd had kids, they probably wanted to come back again.
Yes,
to
that's
help
exactly right. Yeah.
lose
So
some
the
weight
core
again.
the core of my business was mainly brides and the transformation packages that I actually put together for the brides. And I can remember going to the bridal expos in Toowoomba and
Yeah, and how did they go? Was it popular?
pretty good. Yeah.
So you built up a scaled business, and scaling businesses is really tough,
It
right?
is hard. It is hard.
It sounds great, sounds wonderful.
It does take quite a toll
Yep.
on you and also on your body as well.
Yeah.
Because would have been 18 months ago. Yeah, about 18 months ago, I was really stressed. And then I'd actually put on about 10 kilos.
Okay.
And you kind of don't realise that you actually do. And here I am supposed to be a personal trainer who's in the health industry and fitness industry. And I was not actually looking after myself. I was so stressed.
Yeah, because you're running a business and trying to scale it and
Yes.
adding elements to the business
And just working longer hours and working on weekends.
managing staff.
Oh, yeah, that was a nightmare.
Managing people's not easy,
No,
right? It's a tough thing
no.
to do.
And, because also what I have found is if it's not really their business, the passion actually isn't there for them.
Yeah. Yeah, which is across all industries,
Yeah, it is.
possibly.
It is,
And it's
yeah.
when you're small, it's hard to bring in the resources sometimes
Yes.
to develop a different
Yeah.
culture that you want.
Yes.
Because you're tiny, right? Micro
Yeah.
business starting and
Yeah.
going. So it came to a bit of a, sort of things got to a point and you decided to stop that business.
Yes, just with health reasons, decided to stop that business. And so I had about a year off because I knew that I had to get myself well again.
Yeah.
And no amount of dieting was actually helping because I was so stressed. I wasn't sleeping. It was just a nightmare.
Sleep's important.
Run down.
Yeah.
Sleep's
really important.
Sleep is so important.
Yeah.
And so I was actually doing research on that, and my webinars that I hold now, I really make them aware of how important sleep is.
So you
and
changed your
reducing
business
stress.
model, didn't you? You're
Yes.
passionate about the health and wellness
Yep.
model, but you decided to change what you were doing and stay in that space, and
Yep.
that's where Drop a Dress Size came from.
Yeah, that's how Drop a Dress Size actually transpired. I've been working with my mentor for a few years now, and we're just sitting down and thought, I actually don't know what I want to do anymore. Because the passion wasn't actually there.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it had died. And I was thinking, what on earth am I going to do? I've done this for the last 12 or 13 years. I don't know what else to do. I have to go and train in something now. But I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to be a retail assistant.
So you actually had a business coach, didn't you, through most
Yes.
of this? So
Yeah, for the last 3 years.
For the last 3 years, you've had a business coach, and she helped you to identify.
Yeah, like our product. She helped me actually beforehand put my transformations together.
Okay.
And so in that transition time, I still had the coach because I was still trying to work out what packages, transformations that I could actually make from a new business.
Sure.
And she just asked me, how easy is it to actually drop a dress size? And I just said to her, well, it's actually relatively easy. And that's how the Drop a Dress Size.
Which is a great name,
Yeah.
right? Because it just says exactly what you...
Yeah, that's the outcome.
One of the big incentives initially when you look at changing your lifestyle is about an event or just doing that one simple thing. So Do you work around short-term goals or?
I focus on a longer term goal, and then we work on short-term goals.
Okay. So we were talking before too. We both love food. We both love wine.
Yes.
And we were talking about how, well, I think I mentioned that I have a winemaker friend and suggested to him one day that, well, how come the bottle at the restaurant only has four? It has 6 glasses, and when I get home, there's 4.
Yeah.
You suggested there's only 2. So we both have different sized glasses at home, obviously. But giving up alcohol, is that absolutely necessary? She asked with her hand on her heart.
It's not absolutely necessary. You will actually lose weight. You know, if you were actually serious and wanted to drop that dress size for an event, you know, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, yes, you will have to. And then you go to your event
and enjoy a glass of wine.
Yes, enjoy yourself. That's what life is actually all about.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of things on Facebook going around suggesting that a couple of glasses of wine before bed at night actually helps you lose weight. Now I like that little beanie thing going. Another fitness trainer suggested to me that wasn't necessarily correct, but you've suggested that a dry wine is far better for you. It has to be extremely
dry.
Now I like dry wine, so that works for me.
And then you have to have a look and measure out your portion sizing and have a look at how many serves.
So I can't use your glasses.
No, you can't use mine because that'll be like the whole bottle. It's dry, extremely dry wine.
Dry wine, and the other thing,
and not regularly. You know, I would not be drinking it every single day.
Unlike the meme on Facebook that suggests you can, to my winemaker friend.
Small amounts, like a very small amount with a meal, as long as there's not a lot of sugar in there, which dry wines don't tend to have. You know, that is actually okay. But I would not be drinking it while I'm actually preparing a meal.
Yeah,
I would be having it with a meal.
So we talked about good food too, and we talked about holistic approach. And so rather than going shopping in a supermarket now, you go and take photos.
I very rarely. There's only bits and pieces that I have to pick up at the supermarket.
Yeah.
So when I'm actually in the supermarket, I just go around taking photos of food labels.
Which I'm sure the store loves you for, but
well, I have to try and sneak, but... You know, I am actually quite horrified, and I've noticed now school's going back next week. The amount of...
It will be back by the time this gets shown, so this will be shown
the school,
March,
school...
so with schools, it's a
with
tricky
school
thing.
back, there is actually a lot of quick and easy snacks on the shelves. And so I have actually been taking photos and I compare, and then I'll let people know how much sugar. I'm trying to educate people on to read the food labels. Well, and you know, when you actually look at them, there's actually no real ingredients actually in there.
Yeah, we actually discussed this too, even about yogurt too, didn't we?
Yes,
Having a Middle Eastern background, I grew up on homemade yogurt, which took me a long time to actually adjust my taste to the sweetened ones because I wasn't used to them at all, and I did for a short period.
You get addicted to the sugar very quickly.
You kind of think that you're meant to, a yogurt's a yogurt. And then I started reading the labels and realised yogurt should have 2 ingredients really, maybe 3 possibly, but there's a lot out there with a lot more ingredients than one or two, a couple of ingredients. So
there's a lot more, and this is why we go to the farmers markets on a Saturday, because the food is fresh and it's seasonal. Yeah, and people aren't realising now that there's some foods you can't actually buy at this time of year. If you can, it's actually imported. Yeah. So I just
imported
want people,
or travelled a long way or sat in a cold
room.
So
I do for 6 months or more. Yeah. So I'm more about educating people on the benefits of having a whole food diet
and nutritious food.
Yeah.
So you have 2 daughters and a husband.
An older son who's 23 and a daughter who's just turned 22.
Okay. How has it impacted them, you changing your life in the last 15 years?
Well, it's actually really good because they now are quite self-sufficient and they eat an extremely healthy diet. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about any health problems that they're actually going to be having. And they actually exercise on their own free will.
And because you have a history of some health issues in your family, don't you, as well? So
yeah, we have a history of high cholesterol and 2 of my family members, my brothers, have had heart attacks.
Wow.
at a young age.
Yeah.
So, yes, got to be very careful.
Diligent about
Yeah.
that. Now, there was another little side effect to you doing this too, which your husband didn't realise would impact him.
No.
What happened?
Well,
Without trying.
I just said to him, like, we're going on a low carb diet. You know, we're going to cut out all the snacks and, you know, the rice and the pasta, because he loves rice and he loves pasta.
Yeah.
We have it every so often, whereas before we were probably only eating it maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's none. We'll only probably maybe have it once or twice a month now.
Yeah.
And so he's lost 9 kilos.
Without
And
trying.
he has actually exercised with that as well. But yeah, he's lost 9 kilos, and 80% of that would be from the diet.
Yeah.
And we had actually started then going to the markets and getting more greens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just changing, just small changes in our diet.
There's more evidence around now too around what we're consuming. So through the 80s and 90s, there was a big push on really highly processed, low-fat foods.
Yep.
That's now flipping over a little bit with sort of some gut flora research and with some, you know, better research around the actual food we're putting in our bodies, and the least processed foods are really positive.
I think they're finally realising now the mistake that they actually made, because they've got more health issues now.
It's a chronic
What they
disease,
do.
and
now,
processed foods, we're doing that on a graph.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas, you know, chronic disease is one of our big costs in society too, right? So have you found people have responded better to it now too? So in the past, you know, there's a lot of calorie counting and things rather than looking at what you're actually eating.
Yes.
Are people more comfortable actually now considering real food?
Oh, it's half and half.
Yeah, so there's still a bit of resistance.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is they say that they're actually time poor, and it's just easier just to grab, you know, those already pre-made products. And that's where I work with the ladies as well to set up healthy habits about time management, preparing for the week.
Well, I remember
it just makes a massive difference.
Mason jars. I remember the whole jar, salad in a jar concept. When I was contracting in Brisbane, and so had a lot of travel each way from Toowoomba to Brisbane every day. I started on the Mason jars, bought a stack of them, and we just pre-make my salads for the week and put them in the
just
fridge.
pop them in the fridge. Yeah,
made it really simple and easy.
It does. You know, like, I don't actually do a lot of preparation now because there's only Chris and I at home. But yeah, when I was working, you know, virtually full time, and the kids were still at school and sport, I definitely prepared my meals then.
Yeah.
Knew exactly what I was going to be eating, and
I'm not that organised, but sometimes the chaos.
It's just my nature. It's my personality, actually.
Yeah, well, my son,
I need things to be a little bit more organised.
My son will eat cucumbers like fruit. So
yes, my kids do that as well.
It makes it really simple sometimes to give him a cucumber. Don't cut ends off or anything.
Oh, no, you just eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I think I'm really happy that I started that with the kids when they were at school as well. So their snacks were cucumbers and cherry tomatoes and bits of cheese. So that's what their snacks actually were.
And they're used to it.
And so they're actually used to eating that way now.
So what sort of well, actually, I'm going to suggest it. So this is the first time we've had someone come along and bring their own cup. But it says, I believe in magic.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's quite a lovely little thing. I'm a big believer in magic.
I actually got that from my mentor last year because, you know, I was kind of at a loss as to what am I going to do. And, you know, when your confidence is quite low, it's really hard to believe that, you know, there could actually be life after the business, or you could actually make another business from the remnants of what I actually had.
Yeah,
so she actually got us these mugs, which I use every day, and I love this mug. It's my favourite one. And
it's quite. I mean, I quite like it because I'm a big believer in the laws of attraction as well. So
am I.
When you believe in something, it kind of comes to you.
It does. And it was really funny when you put up the post, you know, the other day about.
Trying to think which one.
No, it was about this, and I was sitting there thinking, hell yeah, you know, because I was actually, this was one of my goals, was to actually be speaking more and getting out in front of people and how I was actually going to do that. And then you put that post up and I'm like, oh, yep, I got in touch with Nuri. And then last night, when I woke up this morning, I don't know what time you went to bed, but I got up at 4:30. Yeah, I got up at 4:30 and there's this message there.
Had to clarify it was actually today and not tomorrow.
And, you know, and the message was there and I'm like, yeah, that's a sign.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got to take this opportunity now.
And that's the thing sometimes too, isn't it? It's taking that opportunity. And I've mentioned it before and I call it that 10 seconds of brave, where you just have 10 seconds to make a decision and do it.
Yeah. See, mine's 5 seconds. You know, the
There's
Mel
a lot of
Robbins 5-second rule?
Yeah.
Mine is 5 seconds. Mine is usually, actually mine used to be shorter. It was 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's either a yes or a no.
I joke and I say I have the same thing about exercise. I actually like early morning exercising.
So do I.
Because it's only 10 seconds, you've got to get out of bed or not, and my brain hasn't woken up.
That's
and if I can
exactly
exercise without my brain waking up, then it has no excuses
They
for
have
getting
no
out
idea.
of it.
It has no idea they did actually exercise.
Pretty well. So on that note, Lisa, thank you so much for coming
my
along.
pleasure.
We need to come and share some wine together in your glasses.
Definitely. My glasses,
And look, thank you so much for motivating people to get out there and start looking at what they're eating and how they're behaving, because it makes such a difference to your life.
It does make a difference.
And your energy levels and everything else, and even indirectly to the people around you, your children, partners, husbands. Big, you know, it's life changing.
Yeah.
So thank you very much
That's
for
quite
coming
all right.
along.
Thank
really
you for
enjoyed
having
the
me.
chat.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.